Hello, welcome. So we've obviously talked a lot about increasing demand for television. It seems to be an incredibly important initiative, given that the ad market, as we heard this morning from Kate, is pretty flat in terms of spend, yet supply is going up. So how do we do that? And it's the SME challenge. And we thought long and hard actually about this session. We thought we'd do it in a couple of ways, have a really, really good look at universal ads, but look at it from the perspective of how it will work within the indie community, as in indie agencies, that sort of the felt brands. So we'll hear from obviously ITV and Channel 4 with a indie agency. And then after that, we have actually a conversation with a brand. And it just so happened to be the agency that reflects that they work with. And it's really interesting how they look to spend in telly, how they justify doing it, and how they actually allocate and get the budget. So that's after this session. But before that, obviously, we're going to have a really, really good analysis and overview and case study from UA, what's going to come out in the next 6 to 12 months. So with that in mind, please give a big hand to Joanna Burton and her speakers as she leads the next session. Ladies and gentlemen, Joanna Burton.
Maybe it's not Joanna Burton. Thank you very much, Justin. Thank you for that intro. So we're the fat end of the long tail. Can't you tell? So I'm here with Jason, Paul and Mihir, and this session is about radical collaboration in television and how that can nail the SME or SMB opportunity. So Jason, let's start with you. Jason from ITV. Why is the SMB market important to the television industry?
Well, I'd say it's hugely important. If we want to grow the TV ad market, we need to attract new brands. And as we've seen already across this conference, the biggest opportunity for the TV industry is SMBs. Now, we reckon there are around about 40,000 SMBs who are TV ready. And by that, we mean SMBs who are between 10 and 49 people with sufficient budget to go on TV, but sufficient opportunity to scale. They're maxed out on search and social. And the only way we are going to get them is if we radically collaborate, make TV more accessible. And if we can do that, it's got an opportunity to make next year, I think, the year on TV for SMBs.
2026, the year for SMBs. So what do they need? Do they need a minimum spend or anything like that to be TV ready? Or is it just that they've maxed out on search, maxed out on...
I think it's a combination. I mean, if we look at advertisers that we have at ITV, over half are spending under £50,000 a year.
Half your existing advertisers?
Half of our existing advertisers are spending under £50,000 a year, many significantly less on a regionalised or addressable basis in ITVX. I think you've got to look at the relationship between the turnover and the amount they're putting into marketing. It's about getting that balance. But it's also about talking to them at the right moment when they're starting to reach that tipping point of maxing out on search and social.
Interesting. Well, let's talk to the agency we have on the panel. So, Paul, you've been the chief exec of the AMS group for a really long time.
A very long time.
Just tell us, you're an independent agency.
Yes, we are, yeah. So AMS Media Group is celebrated our 50th year of existence this year.
And you weren't chief exec that whole time?
Some people might say. No, I've done a 20-year plus stint in the chair. But what's great about being an indie is no one can fire you.
Oh, great. So your agency isn't just SMBs, though, is it? You have a range of different clients.
Absolutely not. No, we have a real blend. I think, one of the reasons, I guess, I'm here to talk about this is that independent agencies are more of a natural entry point for SMBs, much more than the holdcos. Not just because of budget size, but because of the nuances of their type of brief and what they're trying to achieve. We, I guess, in our sector, as independent agencies, are naturally challenger brands.
Yeah.
And therefore, the chemistry between us and SMB clients tends to be much the same. They are likewise challenger brands. So we tend to get along very well, share entrepreneurial kind of ethics, and we go on a journey together. And which is why, the client tenure at our place has been, way beyond the average in the industry. I mean, say if we take Red Bull, for example, we held the Red Bull account in the UK for 23 years.
Wow, okay, so that's even longer than you'd been CEO. So, and I could imagine that you might nurture them to the point when they're ready for TV. Why would you say TV is so good for that, for SMB or for smaller clients?
So, I mean, if we look at it from a historical point of view, certainly within the SMB category, there will have been, if you like, kind of mental barriers to making that leap onto TV in the past.
Mental barriers.
Mental barriers, but which would, even if we as an agency were advocating it, there would be concerns about going to the board and justifying that level of expense. And I'm not talking about necessarily the expense of the media as such, but the cost of making a commercial that is fit for purpose. And so for the longest time, I think that's been the case. But the reality now, and certainly within the last decade, even in the last few years, has been, that those barriers to entry, not to TV as such, but to AV, have come tumbling down. And that clients at that end of the market now are feeling that actually, video is something they can absolutely embrace. The production costs involved have come down massively, and that they don't need that bigger pot to get their ads on small screens.
Aside from money, Paul, is there some other perceived barrier, or is it actually hard to buy?
I think the problem before, if you like, was that point of entry, but now, because, if you like, the ease of access for paid social now means that conventional TV is the outlier rather than first port of call. Okay,
so Mahir, you in your role you work with the independent agencies. That's what you specialise in at Channel 4. So what do you think about that point of purchase for the SME markets? How can you make it easier, and how is it important to you?
Yeah, I think kind of building on what Paul said is that TV is complex in the UK. TV trading, TV mechanics, choosing your audiences, choosing your programs. Someone that doesn't have expertise in it, it is a complex media, and unfortunately that's just the legacy of the media. I've been on the agency side previously and had conversations with these clients, so I really kind of understand some of the troubles that they go through. So, and as Paul said, the platforms, so the social and the digital platforms, have made it really easy for new brands to kind of enter on, not just literally buying and setting up a target audience, but also on the creative side of it as well. I think Meta put out a statistic that they make like 50,000 new creatives a single day, every single day for their advertisers. And let's be honest, the quality of them isn't always amazing. And TV has to be a lot more considered. And also we have things like, one of the reasons that TV is so trusted is all the regulation that goes behind creatives and what can be said and what can be done in that. So the important thing to acknowledge is anything that we do going forward, we have to protect the brand safety that TV already has. So the friction, which my boss Rack refers to it as, of sort of clearcast and Ofcom is actually a real superpower of TV. But in terms of making it easier, collaboration is really key, and actually building on something what Jason was talking about. So that 40,000 statistic is amazing, but just to put it into perspective for you, in the UK, across the three broadcasters, we probably carry about 7,000 to 7,500 advertisers between
you. The three broadcasters being you and ITV and Sky.
Right? There are 2.5 million registered businesses in the UK. Now, we're not for 1 minute to all of us think that we're going to get into the millions, but if there's a pool of 40,000 advertisers who are TV ready because they have the budgets and things like that, that is an audience that we have to build products for to go and target and simplify the TV process. So any collaboration that we do isn't just operational, it is strategic, and it's about reducing the barriers to entry and simplifying access to TV and allowing brands, especially SME brands, to be able to access premium long-form video in a trusted environment. And that is kind of everything that we're doing there.
Well, it's interesting because Justin gave the game away. I was going to come to this later, but he mentioned universal ads. So sticking with you, Mahir, can you just tell us a little bit about this, what this radical collaboration is?
Yeah, so universal ads, for those who don't know, is born out of a Comcast product that they have live in the United States already. Comcast obviously own Freewheel, Channel 4 and Sky both work with Freewheel, but we thought to make this as compelling as possible, we need the big broadcaster involved as well. And that is all it's about, is creating a compelling marketplace for new to TV advertisers, especially SMEs, to come onto TV and making it as easy as possible for them. So they won't go in and select which broadcaster they want to be on, they will select their audience. There may be opportunities for them to use the generative AI products that we have and ITV also have to kind of build their creative. There'll be guidance through Clearcast and all of those sorts of things. And then Lantern will also be onboarded onto that as well. So essentially what we've done here between the broadcasters is we've looked at the one thing the platforms were doing well, and that's accessibility, and come to them, but with the power of TV, of the trusted environment, and said, well, look, we're building this product that they will be able to access a trusted environment. Of course, we know everything that's gone on in the last 2 weeks with Meta and in the news and around ad fraud and transparency and all of that sort of stuff. But we've kept the power of TV, but we're also, we'll be honest, we've taken a learning from the platform that this is what the platforms, these are what brands need for them to kind of access it. And the Lantern piece is really important as well, because we know from conversations we all have with SMEs, CFOs are really heavily involved in their marketing activity now, because they want to know, they're sort of addicted to last click attribution. So they want to know every single pound that they spend on media, what that is returning. And actually, that's where the TV conversation has been quite tricky in recent times, because there's so much proof of TV's effectiveness over a long period of time, but the whole immediate ROI piece is a lot more difficult for TV to prove, and we're hoping that having Lantern in place sometime next year will really enable that conversation.
And this platform, brands can buy with a credit card.
Yes. So
Jason, Mahir's mentioned Lantern, but you've actually, as across the broadcasters, you've got quite a history of collaborating with Lantern, with Barb, with Seaflight.
Yeah, I think if you look at the rate of that collaboration over the last sort of 5-10 years, from Barb through to Seaflight, through to where we are now, I think what we've recognised is it's only by trying to break down those barriers, whether they're legal, technological, or even attitudinal within organisations, that we get to a better place. So we are the only place in the world, in the UK, where we've got the major broadcasters working together to create that link between the ads that people are viewing and what they do afterwards, so that then we can demonstrate that when you see that, this is the action you perform. For too long, it's been easy for the likes of Meta and Google to be in that room, be able to own that conversation. This gives the TV industry the chance to be there together with a single clear narrative.
And we're calling it radical collaboration, and it is really radical, and it is world leading. I don't think other broadcasters in other countries do anything like this. I know your leaders go into the agencies on roadshows and really try and push the story of TV in general. And you heard Rack just before the coffee break using the word we, meaning all TV, trying to improve the performance of the whole, or improve the accessibility, the reputation, the growth of the whole of the TV industry as a general. But it's not just limited, collaboration isn't just limited to broadcasters, is it, Paul? You've decided on your side as an agency to collaborate with other agencies.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it was actually born out of the COVID years in that what we discovered was that, independent agencies basically had a lot more in common than they didn't. And we were all going through a pretty tough time, and it made sense to start comparing notes, even though, on the face of it, we're competitors. And out of that comparing notes kind of dialogue came the birth of what is now in the UK called the Alliance of Media Independence. So myself and Martin Woolley from the What's Possible group took the initiative to, I mean, it's like one of those things like build it and they will come, right? So we went public and said, look, we're putting together this alliance of independent media agencies. Do you want to be part of it? And basically, independently or individually rather, we don't really have a voice in this kind of crazy media landscape that we work within. But put us together and aggregate us as one, as I say, because most of the time, from an indie perspective, we have the same opinions. And so that's exactly what we did. And by April, we had, I think, 28 members, and we're currently on 32 and more to follow.
Excellent. And so how has this radical collaboration intersected with ITV and their backing business fund?
Well, all credit to Jason, because he picked up on the news of what we were creating as a collaboration very early in our lifetime. And I have to be honest, when Jason first spoke to us, it didn't really exist. So, but within a few months it did, and Jason was like totally embraced and got the concept of what we were trying to do. And then we started talking about, well, as an aggregation, because at the time, when we got to the full body of agencies, if you aggregated all our billing together, we were actually bigger than WPP
Very
Media
nice.
in the UK. Not that we were going to buy as one, but as a body. And so Jason took the initiative, and that started a dialogue. And we certainly didn't just throw it together. It took quite a lot of collaboration in terms of the component parts that need to go in. And one of the key elements, I think, of the indie agency sector, especially at the SMB client end, is the word flexibility, because it isn't one size fits all for us and our clients. We need, some entry points are all about brand, others are very much about performance, etc. So what we've built together with ITV is a unique package of benefits for those clients that are new to TV, that make it a kind of no-brainer for them to test it.
Excellent. And you've done something similar at Channel 4 with Black in Business. Tell us about that just briefly.
Yeah, so at Channel 4 we've done a couple of initiatives to kind of, so one of Channel 4's big remits from a content perspective is to represent underrepresented and to create change through entertainment. And so we've done a couple of initiatives from a sales function that kind of replicate that and help us change the landscape and give opportunities to brands that wouldn't necessarily have the voice to do these things elsewhere. So Black in Business was born out of our Black to Front initiative, which was sort of a response to the murder of George Floyd in 2020. And some research that we did, collaborated with a research company called Blacklight, came out that Black-owned businesses in the UK are less likely to receive funding from venture capitalists or banks or any of kind of that sort than any other owned businesses. Those statistics are even worse if it's a female Black-owned business. It's actually quite shocking. So we put our money where our mouth is, and we created effectively what is a competition for Black-owned businesses to advertise on TV for the first time. So in our first year, we carried 5 businesses, gave them £100,000 worth of Channel 4 airtime. In the second year, we looked at the research that we'd done from the first year, and this is all in partnership with Lloyds Bank as well, who have supported us on this. We saw that actually giving more money but having less brands would be more effective. So we championed 4 brands and gave them £150,000 worth of airtime. But on top of that, we actually made the ads for them as well in partnership with Quiet Storm, who are a Black-owned creative agency. So that's been really, really important to us. And actually, we have a Christmas campaign from one of the winners from the first year come back on and spend their own cash. So it's been really good.
Perfect.
They saw the effectiveness of TV and they come back to us.
And then tell me about how you're supporting these smaller SMBs with your from a creative perspective as well.
Yeah, so from a creative perspective, we've got our in-house Channel 4 creative team, which is obviously well known and won tons of awards. But actually, recently, and I think some of the pioneers of this at Channel 4 are in the audience, but we've launched our Smart Ad Engine, which is our generative AI product. So there's different tiers of it. There's a completely automated level where it can just scrape a website, but actually, the main thing that we look to use it for is for brands to come on and put in the inquiry with us, create their own ad, and then optimize it using human intervention.
Let's see.
So we have an advert to show.
Can we run VT? So this is AI.
Visuals or AI. Just scripted. Quite good.
Attention all customers, join us for the podcast that discusses everything you thought you knew on the good, the bad and the healthy. With me, Sunna Van Kampen, the guy from the supermarket.
Available now wherever you get your podcasts.
I want to watch that. Excellent. Jason, You have award-winning generative AI at ITV.
Give me the award.
I gave you an award, yeah. So last time we were on stage together. So just very quickly, can you give us a demo, as live demo?
Yeah, so we've had, just before we play this, so we've had a creative production team making ads, people making ads. We make 1,000 ads for 200 news TV brands, which is great at cost. But to scale it, we recognise that Gen AI is the key. We launched a service last year, which won awards, which had a blend of human and AI. We've now taken it to the next level with a collaboration with Magnite's streamer platform. And I'm going to do a really quick demo. So if we can play VT, let me just talk you through how we do this. This is the interface. It's got the BCAP code baked into it. What we do, apologies to you as a vegetarian, but we will put in a business.
Yeah.
This is Blacklock. It's a meat restaurant in Manchester. They've got 6 restaurants, so it's in that sweet spot of SMBs. And it will then build the ad using a Gen AI DJ of lots of different different Gen AI tools. And within 30 seconds, it's made you an ad. Now, we've trained the whole sales team to do this across ITV, so we've truly democratized it. Before I play you what that looks like, we're going to show you how easy it is to edit it. So you can go into this, you can change the images. It's taking the images from the online estate of the brand, so you can upload images as well into it. You can change the text, the phonetics. You can remove the QR code that's in there as well. You can change the voiceover, the music, all within the enterprise licenses that are built within this. And then you can also make sure that this is compliant. It's got the friction of the BCAP code, but we built it in to streamline it. This is the storyboard version of it.
Where mouth-watering meals await you in a warm and inviting atmosphere. Indulge in our expertly prepared dishes that promise to tantalise your taste buds and leave you satisfied. Enjoy exceptional service and a delightful dining experience that keeps our guests returning for more. Visit Blacklock Manchester today and savour the flavour that everyone is talking about.
So that's the storyboard versions, but the magic is when you animate it using VO3 and get it to TV ready, which is what we're going to show you now. This is the final version of it.
Discover the mouth-watering flavours waiting for you at Blacklock Manchester, where every meal is a culinary delight. Experience the welcoming atmosphere and friendly service that makes each visit truly enjoyable. Our expertly crafted dishes are sure to leave a lasting impression on your taste buds. Visit Blacklock Manchester today and savour the moment.
So that's now I made. I'm not a creative, but I've learned how to use this. You can make that in under 5 minutes from start to finish.
Excellent. Wish we had time for more, but we don't. I think it's really impressive stuff. We've covered a lot of ground. Radical collaboration for sure. Definitely addressing the SMB market. Thank you very much, gentlemen.